Hello! One of the most prevalent misunderstandings in League is the importance people put on score in and out of game. In this video, I'll attempt to explain that score is correlated but not directly related to champion strength. In League, 4 things are directly related to champion power in any specific situation. These are items, levels, cooldowns, and surroundings. Notice how I didn't say gold. This is because total gold tells you exactly one thing: how much gold one has. In the same way that score only tells you how many kills, deaths, and assists a champion has. The gold only matters once you've spent it. Items are one of the strongest indications of champion strength. I'll give a classic example of this. So picture a Lucian versus an Orianna mid lane, both at level 5. The Lucian gets ganked and dies, buys 2 longswords and then returns to lane. Although the Lucian's score is worse, he's undoubtedly currently more powerful than the Orianna who is not yet recalled. A more advanced example can be found in item breakpoints. Completing a full item often results in a spike in relative power. Picture 2 scenarios, both where you're 1000 gold behind the enemy AD carry. In scenario 1, the other ADC has completed Kraken Slayer, and you have a Noon Quiver and a Crit Cloak. In scenario 2, your opponent has Kraken Slayer, Boots, and 2 daggers, while you have a completed Kraken Slayer. Although the gold differential is equal in both scenarios, any experienced player would say that the ADC that is behind has a far greater relative strength in scenario 2. Understanding these intricacies in itemization will allow you to pick the best moments to fight and make optimal in-game decisions. In lower elos, champion level is by far the most underappreciated stat. In addition to around 500 gold in stats, each level gives champions access to either another ability or a more powerful version of an already skilled one. Bearing this in mind, it's easy to understand how if all else is equal, a champion with 1 more kill but 1 less level is far weaker than the reverse. Much like with items, level differentials can also have massive spikes in relative power. The most obvious of these being the level 6 power spike or the infamous Lucian level 2 power spike, with a shout out to Michael Santana of course. I'll give a final example of level importance. Picture a level 5 Orianna with 2 kills and 50 CS, versus a level 6 Annie with 0 kills and 40 CS. Even if all of each champion's gold is spent, in 90% of cases the Annie will win the 1v1. But if the Orianna just plays back until she hits level 6, all of a sudden the relative power goes like this, and she's once again stronger. Now, when I say cooldowns, I'm referring to every type of cooldown in League that you can imagine, including basic spells, ultimate spells, summoner spells, item cooldowns, an electrocute or a comet cooldown, all the way to a bone plating or a scorch cooldown. Let's go back to the level 5 Orianna versus the level 6 Annie. In the exact same situation I described, if you just change Annie's ult to be on cooldown, all of a sudden it's a clear and easy win for the Orianna. There are so many examples where relative power skyrockets or nosedives based on one item or ability's cooldown. Malphite without ult is just a tanky melee minion, Fizz without E or without Zhonya's is a fish out of water, Annie turns into a point and click monster when flash and stun is up, and Zed either pulls off an insane LL stylish-esque 1v4 or instantly dies and gets question mark pinged purely based on his edge of night being up or down. Understanding cooldowns and their importance is one of the most, if not the most, important skills in League. This final point is becoming more and more important as League evolves. Certain champions can have massive changes in relative strength based on how much the surroundings suit their kit. For For example, if Aurelia has 10 low health minions around her, she's primed for a glorious 1v2 double kill, but without anything to reset Q, she's pretty weak. Jinx and Twitch are the best ADCs in the game when the enemies are clumped up without direct engage onto them, while Lucian or Ezreal thrive in higher mobility skirmishes with 2 or 3 champions. Certain team compositions thrive in open space siege situations, while others in narrow corridors and choke points, for example, Seraphine blasting through your team and just winning the game. Knowledge of points like these allows high-level players to constantly calculate their decisions based on current context, and not simply use frequently said heuristics like group and 5v5, unless it's actually the right decision at the time. This is why, when watching high-level players, you'll often see them say, "We can't fight this," and then half a second later engaging. Most of the time, this is not because they were mind-controlled into engaging against their will, but because the situation changed within that half a second, changing their perception of the right play. Anyway, although some of these ideas may seem quite obvious, I urge you to look deeper and can guarantee most of you underestimate many of these factors of champion strength. I really hope this video was useful and that you enjoyed it. I have a great Discord server with a fantastic community where I also offer coaching sessions if you're interested. The link is in the description.